For sharing with me your situation, um, losing your job and being restructured out after having a really significant surgery that required lots of healing. And it sounds like you've got some pain as well. No wonder you're struggling to be focused on finding new work and not feeling really settled. So I thought I would just share with you a few ideas that have helped me when I've been in a really high pain level, when I've come out of surgeries and had a lot of work to do. And obviously, I'm a consultant and a speaker. And so, a lot of that work that you're doing to try to find a job is the work I need to be incorporating into my days to be sure that my schedule is full. So, having said that, a couple things I wanted to say. Number one, pain sucks. Like, in all ways of its being, it sucks. So we can't gloss over that. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I was building, or not building, building my pain, experiencing my pain after my surgeries and stuff at the early days, was I used it, my doctor actually called it my gotta go technique. I would pretend like I wasn't in pain. I believed that if I powered through, I would just like get everything I needed to get done, and I would be better off for it. And the truth is, it actually, the more you push through pain, the more you actually can harm yourself in terms of emotional and mental capacity. So, recognizing and accepting that the pain sucks and going into the pain. Now, this is going to sound weird, but I've been in pain for a lot of years, 17 years since my surgery that caused neuropathic pain in my pelvis. And I will lean into the pain so you can feel all of its sensations instead of trying to ignore it. And this is going to feel like a really odd thing, but I wrote about it in one of my books. But I kind of think of it as like Grumpy Smurf. Okay, this thing that is like screaming at you and is like angry and it hurts. And like for me, my pain like sort of feels like a serrated edge knife. And I think of that pain when it's really flaring up, and I go into it and I imagine it like a grumpy Smurf. Okay, so it has an identity, and the more I try to fight it, what happens is it's like Grumpy Smurf like calls everybody else in the whole village over to hang on and intensify it. So if I can go into the pain and be like, there you are, acknowledge it, feel it, and give it some movement and some respect, it tends to be less distracting. Doesn't make it necessarily go away, but it doesn't hold on as tight. Okay, and so many people will give you advice like push through the pain, just let it go. It's just, it's not good for you. So honor your pain, recognize that it sucks, validate yourself in that situation. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to recognize is when you are downsized, your basic security is at risk. And so I don't know your whole situation. If you have financial stability, if you got a buyout, anything like that, doesn't even matter. If you're used to having a job and you don't have a high risk tolerance, then you're going to be in what I call survival stress mode. And survival stress mode is the instinctive stress that signals to us that we are in danger or someone we love is in danger. These are the big things in our life. And there's no way to really, like, if you're really good at managing your stress, you still can't stop survival stress from happening. It's still going to happen. Okay. It's just how we're built, and we have to stop denying it. And so this is the same thing, is like, okay, you know what? Let's name it. I'm scared. I'm, feeling overwhelmed by it. I'm disappointed. I loved my old work, and now I've been, downsized or right-sized or resized, whatever the word is that they use these days. And so I want to share with you how this can actually look. So if you imagine your capacity cylinder, all right, or your capacity, you only have so much energy each day to do, to think, to feel, and to be. And how much you do, think, feel, and be is like that's often defaulting to old patterns and just like putting out everybody else's fire. But like my work is about how do we design that so you have days that are optimal. But I want to just look at the situation right now with this pain that you're in and with the fear and the survival stress that you're feeling. That to me is the having to get a job is an obstacle. So we can solve that. It's going to take a little bit of work. You're going to find the right job. It's going to work out. I believe in you. Awesome. Um, the pain, you don't necessarily like, I hope it's only temporary. You said your surgery was in, I think, December. So what happens is I want you to imagine it sort of like a noose around your capacity cylinder. Okay, so what it does is it ends up taking out a significant portion. I love my drawing here. A significant portion of your ability each day to do, think, feel, and be. And what happens here, do, think, feel, be, is when we're going through something that's really pain related, can still expect ourselves to operate as if we had our full capacity available to us. And you don't. And in my journey, I've figured, depending on where my pain is at, what point in my surgery journey I was in, even today, like, you know, with the different health challenges that I'm navigating right now, it's like I'm trying to figure out, you know, where my noose is as well. And really, some days it can block out, you know, 10 to 20% of my day. And some days it's going to take out like 90%. Okay. So, you know, this is not the best drawings, obviously, but if you were to just sort of conceptualize that, and then the thing is, all you have left is what's not being cinched out or suffocated out by your body's ability to go through the biological processes of feeling danger, of feeling the pain and having to heal. And the more we deny that this is happening, the worse it's going to be. Because if we're trying to push, then what happens is we end up like overflowing our capacity cylinder, and this is how we end up burning out. All right. So here's what we're going to do about this. Number one, and when I say we, I'm encouraging you because I've offered, you know, this insight for you. I hope you will take it. If you think about your cylinder, and I know you saw this, I think, in the presentation, but this is for you. So here's your cylinder, and we think about it as a design, and you only have some of it available, right? So we're going to get rid of all of this stuff. Okay. Now, if you are too much in pain and you're spending your days and you're not doing anything, you're going to end up down here in this boredom section. And I think sometimes with pain patients, what happens is we get into so much pain, then we don't have any momentum. And then we get into this loop of judging ourselves and feeling like we're never going to be able to get anything done. And it's hard to get momentum, right? So if you're in this area, the way I'm going to encourage you to come out of it is in little bits. All right. So can you do a 5-minute activity? Can you do a 10-minute activity? We're going to talk about how we're going to figure out what those are. 15 minutes, right? Like what's the bare minimum, even if it's 1 minute of getting up and going and sending a note to somebody on LinkedIn, you know, to help move forward the goal of getting your new job, career, starting a business, whatever you choose to do. Okay. Now, what happens is when we're way up at the top, that's when we burn out. And so if this is all done and you're trying to do everything that you were doing before, and you've got this noose around you that's taking away somewhere between 10 and call it 90% of your daily functioning because your body needs to heal, then you're going to be pushing too hard. So when I only had 2 to 5 hours of functionality in my day after like when my surgery happened, and by the way, the surgery happened 17 years ago and it's still causing problems. And I'm so hopeful for you that that's not going to be the case, obviously. I mean, that's a rare situation. But here's what I did. I woke up every morning and I acknowledged the pain. I might have used some F words, just going to say. We did. Anyway, um, I would acknowledge the pain. And then I would say, what are the 3 things that have to happen today for me to keep my life moving forward? Because see, my doctor wanted me to go on disability. And I was not okay with that. So was it, and sometimes it was bigger things and sometimes they were little things. So I have to do sales outreach. I have to write an article. That would have been it, right? So I'm going to call these 2 people for sales and I'm going to write an article that needed to be published, right? So that was how I spent most of my days. And so really when you think about getting a job, first of all, I want you to just really get really clear on what is it that you want to do. Where do you want to work? What kind of a company? What are the values of the company? And you're thinking, well, Allison, I can't really be picky right now because I'm in a job perspective. But like, if you're going to do the work to reach the people who you actually want to work with. Okay. So that would be number one. Next thing I would do is I would pull a list of all of your LinkedIn contacts is an easy way to start and just even print it out. And so this is going to take you what, 5 minutes? Okay. So there's one little task when you feel like you can do it. And then I would go through on your iPad. If you have an Apple Pencil, it's great. You can just highlight who are some of the key people who would be connected to those places or help you get closer to those places that you have identified as your ideal places to work. And this is very simple, strategic, like outreach, but I'm going to show you why it works when you're in pain, right? So highlight the names and get your list sorted without actually doing the outreach. And because here's what sometimes happens. We like sit down and we are like, okay, I'm going to reach out to somebody who needs, who could be a potential hirer. And we say, okay, I want to work for this bank. And so then we go on LinkedIn and we find the person who works at that bank and we see one name and then we're like, oh, okay, I'm going to send them a no. Well, then now we have to go and find who else do we know to look there. Whereas if you actually pull the list and you just highlight really quickly who those people are, who you're going to reach out to, then when you're in reach out mode, you can be like really, really, really fast. Okay. So that to me has been about like, how do you be the most effective with it? So pull the list, highlight the list, and then do the outreach. Now, a little bit of outreach is better than that is done in small bite-sized pieces is more effective than doing a whole bunch and then getting exhausted and having your pain increase and then not having energy left or capacity left for the rest of the day. Okay. So I would set a goal and only you know what your capacity is at and how much energy you have. But let's say each outreach takes you 10 minutes to write a thoughtful note. I don't know what it'll take you, but or an email, it might take you 2 minutes, right? But let's say you know that you can, your pain can last for 30 minutes, like you're good for 30 minutes. And at 35 minutes, you're like, I need to move or whatever. So then all we're going to do is we're going to set timers for 30 minutes. And maybe it's less, maybe it's a little bit more, no more than 45, I'm going to suggest when you have pain. I love 75, but it's only if I'm really in flow and writing and things like that, where that seems to dull my pain because my brain just goes into creative mode, like right now. All right, so doing that outreach, but being so strategic about the work that you are doing. You don't need to have a whole bunch of different coffees or things that are going to make you feel drained. And I hope that helps. But my hope for this conversation was to really look at this capacity cylinder. That is a really odd looking drawing, but Do, think, feel, be. Looking at how that is, what's inspiring your energy, what's draining your energy, and getting a sense of um, how much you have in the tank each day and where the flow is. Like, is it in the mornings? Is it in the afternoons? Is it after you have a nap? But like trying to expect yourself to work at the level that you used to work at when you're in pain and recovering from a post-operative recovery, and you're now in a situation that you didn't expect to be, is just setting yourself up for burning out. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. I know it can be tough. You may enjoy my personal capacity design course. Let me know if you want to get access to that. I just actually put it up yesterday, so it doesn't even have like a page or anything. So I'll just send me a DM, and it takes this a little bit further. Obviously, not with the pain stuff, but I hope that pain conversation. Pain is an individual journey. Nobody can see how you feel. People just kind of probably look at you and they don't know. And so anyway, I see you and validate that whatever it is that you're feeling probably sucks. And that doesn't mean it needs to define who you are or the type of job that you are going to find and be perfect for. So sending you great energy, and hopefully this is helpful. So have a beautiful day.